You have to get a little crazy. Let's take a little bit of that white and get a little roll of paint right on the edge of the knife there. Let's go up in here. And maybe we'll just make the indication just by doing this. That's all you have to do. Just like this. Just enough so that it separates. And we can begin putting little things like that. And if you just rub that very hard and keep it pretty level, when this is all done, it'll look like, well, watch, it'll look like there's maybe a little river back here somewhere, but it's far away. We don't want a lot of detail in it. Far, far away. Just something like that. And we'll come along and we'll put something in the foreground. But maybe there's some little rapids back here that it's slowly running over. And it's just to give an indication. Too far away to have a lot of detail in it. All right. We don't know where it goes back here. Don't know that we even care. Doesn't matter in our world. Something about like that. Okay. Sleeping on the dirt. So let's come right up in here and let's build us a little, maybe there's a little house there. We'll just scrape this out of basic shape. Something like so. I want it right in front of these trees. We'll take a little Van Dyke, a little dark sienna mixed together, and let's just paint us in a quick little house. This is just a happy little house up here on the hill. Like that. There. Gives us a nice roof. Got to have a roof to keep the water out. There we go. Something like that. Now, when you do yours, maybe you want to have a house that's different. Maybe you don't want to have a house. Maybe you want to have a 2-story house. You can do that. Anything that you want to do. Painting gives one almost total freedom, at least on this piece of canvas. A little brown and white, no pressure. Whew. I want this to be sort of an old raggedy house. There. As we mentioned earlier, doing stories and stuff. Maybe there's a trapper that lived here and he went down to the river one day to check his beaver trap and maybe he fell in. Who knows? Now we could do a cabinectomy. In other words, just cut it off. Get it the way we want it. Better have a door in our cabin. It's easier to get in and out if you got a door. It's hard climbing through the window sometime. There we go. Take a little dark color, put the indication of a few boards and stuff on there if you want them. And you could have made a log cabin just as easy. Let's take a little red, a little white, a little dark sienna in it. Let's see, maybe, yeah, why not? Maybe this got a little red roof on there. It's not in too good a shape either. Not in too good a shape. The old shingles about fell off. It's got some holes in it. Yeah, a few little highlights right up here on top where the sun's really zinging across the top. A few little dooders down the side here. So it stands out. There. Then we can take the knife and work on our perspective here a little bit. See here? You can just cut it off wherever you want it. Just like so. And we need a roof on that cabin. So we'll take some of the titanium white, we'll use a knife, and let's go right up here and lay in a little snow-covered roof. That's simple. Just let it work right down. And you could clean this edge up, make it nice and smooth. Let it overhang a little bit, and grab it and pull. There you go. See how easy it is to make a happy little cabin? Put a little snow on this side, like that. Now the least little touch of the phthalo blue. I want to make it look like there's an edge on here. A little blue over here. This phthalo blue with white. Tiniest little amount. Alrighty, I'll tell you what, let's do. Take the Van Dyke brown, pull it out very flat, cut across and get just the smallest little roll of paint right on the edge of the knife. Now then, Right along here, we'll just touch and make the indication of all kinds of little boards, old weathered boards. There we go. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. See? And you can put as many boards in your cabin as you want. Put some out here, like so. Then we could take our liner brush, junk saver. So maybe he had to build him a little shed. It lives right there. Here's the side, like so. Got to put a roof on his shed. Don't want his shed to get full of snow. There, just a happy little roof. Little touch of some highlight out here. It's barely touching. And we need some boards on that too. Okay, then we once again can cut it off like that. Tell you what, let's do. Let's put in a window right here. There's one, and there's one. Looks like two big eyes. We'll take a little bit of cad yellow, and we'll just make the indication that maybe somebody's home and the lights are on. There. That easy. Let's build a little mountain. I'm going to take some Prussian blue and alizarin crimson. Proportionately, much more crimson than blue. Much more. The blue's many, many times stronger. Now, if you want to see what color you got, put a little white out there. See? That's very, very blue. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more crimson to that. There. I want it more into the lavender, the reddish lavender. All right, that looks better already. Okay, clean off my knife. Let's build us a little mountain. A little paint on the knife, just come right up in here, and you have to make a decision. Where in your world does your mountain live? There he is. There he is. Maybe there's a bump here. See? And just let him go. Just look around and see what kind of mountains are in your area. And if you live in an area where there's no mountains, you certainly can leave the mountains out. And you'll still have a beautiful painting. I get letters from people sometimes and they say, oh, you do too many mountains. The next letter I open, say, you don't do enough mountains. So I really try to please the majority of people, but if you don't want a mountain in your world, then leave it out. The painting is still complete without a mountain. There we are. You know, every day I get letters from fantastic people all over the country who are doing some of the most beautiful paintings. And I love to see them. Every once in a while we put them on a board and we show them on TV. So if you have time, take a photograph of the painting you're doing. Send it in. Let me take a look-see at the kind of work that you're doing from watching the show. There. To see what you're doing, that really makes a lot of hard work worthwhile. It's great. It is fantastic. There, I'm going to take titanium white and put the least little touch of the bright red in it. Least little touch. Just want to give it a touch of a pinkish glow. Pull it out as flat as you can get it. Go straight down, cut across, and get that little roll of paint. Okay? Now then, let's take and just sparkle some color right over this little mountain. Look at that. Look at that. Let it go. There. See, by not over-mixing your paint, you get those spots that are a little bit pinker, some are a little whiter. People think you worked forever trying to get that. And it's one of those happy accidents. You don't really have to do a thing except let it go. There. Maybe back here. Yep, you knew there was. Little touch there. Take some white, little phthalo blue, mix it together. There. All right. Now then, we'll use that for our shadow color. Once again, pull it out very flat, cut across, and get our little roll of paint. Okay, put this shadow in. Zoop. No pressure. No pressure. Look there. Just let it slide right down the mountain. No pressure. Barely caressing the canvas. See, we'll put some of the shadows in. Then we'll come back, pick up some more of the highlight color, and now we can begin putting in all kinds of little bumps and crevices and, you know, all those little things that make your mountain interesting. And wherever you want them. Look at that. You can put them wherever. There. If you learn to do mountains, it'll teach you to use this knife. I don't know of any single thing that you can do that will do more to teach you control of the knife than making mountains. There. I'm using the little knife here because it sort of sneaks into those small areas much better. Put in a few shadows. Now some people like to put the shadows in first and then the highlights. Some don't. Whichever way works for you, that's the right way. And that's all that counts. Okay, need a little shadow here too. You were going to let me just sneak on by without putting one in, then I'd have been in trouble. To give it a touch of pink. There, okay, cut across it. Let's go right up here. Now then, let's put in a happy little water line back here. Just act like you're trying to literally cut a hole right through the canvas. Look at there. See there? A little bit of a touch of pink just adds a little warmth to it. Just a little warmth to it. If you want a little ripple, go right out here. There. If you want a little ripple. When I was in the military, I had a friend that had a lot of ripple. So there we go. We won't talk about that. All right. Let's have some fun. Shoot, let's see. Here we'll take some blue and some crimson. Gonna make a dark lavender color. Clean off the knife. Back to my liquid white, and we'll put a little bit of a water line, and like a little snow laying out here in the water. Maybe this is winter. Make a nice warm winter scene. Tell you what, let's take some dark sienna, a little white in it. I'm just going to mix it a little. Cut off our little roll of paint. And I'm going right up here and into these trees. I want to put the indication here and there of a little trunk. There. Just here and there. Because you don't see the entire trunk. You have leaves and sticks and twigs that are in the foreground that cover up the trunk. There we go. Give it a little sidewards pull. Make it look round. Okay, now then, let me get some blue and white. And we'll just add a few highlights on these trees too. There we go. Just like so. See there? Just a few. I don't want to lose that darkness. That severe contrast is what really makes these little rascals stand out. Over here, don't want him left out. We'll put some on this side. There we go. A little bit more. Right in there. All right. Now then, I'm going to take a 1-inch brush, dip it in the liquid white, get a little touch of the crimson, go right into titanium white, load a lot of color into the brush. Let's go up in here and let's just put the indication of some happy little bushes here and there. There we are. Look at them sparkle. See, they're working layers. Always working layers. Maybe down here. Ooh, look at those. Okay, a little touch more of the liquid white. If you have trouble making the paint stick, add a little more liquid white. It thins it and allows it to come off your brush. There's a very gentle pressure here. Very gentle. Good. It's hard to believe, you know, with the completion of this series. There's, oh my gosh, we're getting 160, 70, 80 shows now. And if you haven't had the opportunity to see them all, and you'd like to, give your local station a call. Let them know what you'd like to see, because they're available to them. If they want them, we'll certainly get them to them. There. And there's some beautiful paintings that maybe you haven't seen yet. Take our knife, just scrape in a few sticks and twigs here and there, mostly in the dark areas though. There we are. Okay. Little touch of water line right along here. Look at that. And we have a finished painting. That's all there is to it. Hope you've got an idea. Maybe back here, let's just do this. Maybe there's a little cabin back here. See here? Watch how easy you can do this on these canvases. I just scrape out a basic shape, and that removes that excess paint. Okay, now we take a little brown, make the back edge, zoop, zoop, like so. Come straight down. Gives us a front. We'll just use that same blue, white color. Put a little highlight on there. There, just a little highlight. Okay, little door. Gotta have a place to get around. Zoop. There, and that's super simple little cabin. Maybe there's a light on the window. Zoop, little yellow, little cad yellow. Put a little window in there. Zoop, little one over here. Bloop. Now there's somebody at home. Somebody's at home. Maybe they got dinner cooking. We don't know. Okay, a little bit of titanium white. Put a little snow on the roof. A little bit on the other side. Tell you what, maybe this is a little old farm, something that's sitting out here. And maybe back in here, the old farmer has his barn. Once again, I think I'll just scrape out a basic shape. Like so. Bloop, bloom. Very, very basic. Now this is much closer to you, so it's perspective-wise, it's going to look much bigger. Much, much bigger. Okay, that'll give us enough paint removal so we can get this to stick. And we'll put in a little Van Dyke brown first of all. Then we can begin just putting in the front of this barn. Maybe this is old farmers like me. He's not too good at keeping things up. Not real keen on that maintenance stuff. I let mine sort of get behind. I don't have a barn, but I let my maintenance get behind. There. And then we take a little bit of dark sienna, a little titanium white, mix it together, and leave it marble. Cut off our little roll of paint. Then we can go right up here. No pressure. Just allow that to just sort of graze it. Just allow it to graze it. Slide right down like that. Now, I'm going to use some white with some of the blue and black in it, and very carefully come down, choo, get, boom, and just begin putting in the basic shape for our roof, over and down. Then over on this side, of course, we have to have a little snow showing over there. There we go. Just like so. Maybe, tell you what, shoot, while we got that going, let's get crazy. Maybe there's a little shed out here. So all you have to do is just come right in there, put in a little white, go back to our brown, come underneath. See how you can add on to buildings? It's that easy. That easy. You can do anything on this canvas. Really can, any old thing. There, a little of that highlight color. And if you wanted to show a little indication over here, it'd be very little. It'd be too dark to show much of anything. Very, very dark. Very dark. Okay. You want to make it look like old boards. Just take a little dark sienna. Go like so. Create the illusion of boards. A little bit over here. And we need a door. Got to have a place for the old cow to get in. Maybe the door is right there, like so. And we can just make out a little edge on that door. There we are. Outline it a little bit so it shows up. Shoot, we're in business now. We can come right on here, do a baronectomy. Cut it off wherever we want it. Okay, maybe the little house does now, right there. There it is. See? Paint that little back eave first. I tell you what, we'll put a front on him. A little front on the other side. See, just sort of in your mind think what a house looks like. And he needs a little side over here too. All right, now then, take a little white and a little brown, pull it out very flat, get us a little roll of paint, and let's put at least a little touch of highlight on there. Barely touching, just caress the canvas. Okay, now, see, we can see that the light's coming from here, so this side's going to be brighter, this one over here, this one's going to be almost dark, almost pure brown. Don't worry about too much color over on that side. Boy, that the guy that lives in there is freezing because there is no roof on his house. Let's give him a roof. Let's give him a roof. There we go. Just that easy. Now he's got a half a roof. Let's feel sorry for him and give him the other half. Don't want him to freeze. Okay, a little snow on the other side. Just sort of bring all that together. Isn't that easy? We got a little cabin. Need a door. Don't want him to get locked in there and can't get out all winter. There, you got a little door. Take a little white. Go around the edges. There, make that rascal stand out. I'm going to take the small knife now. We'll put a little window right there. Just a little blue and white. Just to give the indication of a happy little window. Like that. Okay, on a chimney, we'll use a small edge of the small knife again. Put a little chimney, take a little, tiniest little touch of the bright red. Excuse my arm there. Maybe he don't have his fireplace lit. A little snow laying up here on his chimney. There we go, that easy. Let's take, I'll use the old knife here. Let's just put a quick little indication here of a little tree trunk in there. Doop, doop, doop. Just like that. A few little limbs here and there. A little brown and white. A little highlight. Just a tiny touch of highlight. You can take just a pointed knife. Look at there. Scrape through and make all kinds of little doers in there. Little limbs and stems and twigs. And just that easy. Okay. Now then, let's find. Now then, I tell you what, let's use the knife. Maybe there's what remains. There is an old fence right here. There's a post. Put one there. Tell you what, three looks better. A little bit of brown and white for some highlight. Doop, doop. There we go. Maybe there's still one old post that's hanging across there. There. Now then, I'm going to take the knife and a little bit of white, a little brown. Let's put a little touch of highlight on this tree. There, just barely touch. Give it a little pull. Just let the paint grab. This is a thick, thick paint. So it'll grab and hang on. There, maybe this one comes right down in front. Like that. See there? You can just make all the trees. One of those. We'll start here with some Van Dyke brown. Cut us off a little bit. There, see, it's right out on the edge of that knife. There you can see it real good. Okay, let's go up here. Let's start with the back eave of that cabin. We'll give him a little back eave, like so. Now this may not be an exact duplicate of the painting that you see animated, because you can never go back and do a painting that's exact. but it'll show you how that painting was done. And you can do your own at home. There. See, need the side. Now then, let me grab some white. This is just straight titanium white touch. And give him a happy little roof. Don't want him to freeze to death. Gotta give him a roof. There. And sometimes you'll find it's easier to scrape out the basic shape. And it helps remove some of that loose paint that's underneath. Put a little snow on the other side. A little bit right down there. Take a little bit of the dark sienna and some white. And let's put some highlights on these boards. Just some highlights. Makes it look like old wood. A little bit of brown. Give him a door. There. And we can take just the point of the knife and create the illusion of some old slabs here. This cabin's made with old boards. A little bit of blue and white. And we just put the indication of a little window right there. What I'm doing right now is just looking for a very basic shape. Very basic shape. And we can take a little bit of the browns and white. This is dark sienna and white. And let's just put the indication of some nice little highlights here. Just here and there. Just here and there. Like so. Okay, well, I got the old knife going here. A few little fences posts we had, I think, in that one. A little white. Like so. I'm going to take the... And we're going to have some mountains today, we decided. So let's take some black. We use a little depression blue, some Van Dyke brown, alizarin crimson, whatever. Good dark color with sort of a blue base to it. Blue or lavender base. Pull it out very flat, cut across, get our little roll of paint. Let's come right up in here, maybe right there. Just make a decision where you think the old mountains would live in your world. Decide where the peaks are and all the valleys. It's what makes painting so much fun, is you get to control your world. Oh, this is pure, raw power here. When I go home, all I can do is, the only power I have is over the garbage. That's mine. It waits for me, and I get to take it out. But on this canvas, I can do anything. I can move mountains, trees, can even move rivers here. And so can you. I spent half my life in the military. And I would play soldier all day. Then at night, I would come home. And this painting was a way of... Everybody sees nature through different eyes, and painting is a way of putting your expression on canvas. So enjoy it. Let's take some titanium white. Shoot, let's have some good fun today. Pull it out flat, cut across, get our little roll of paint as usual. Now we can go up in here, and let's begin laying in some little highlights. Let that knife just sort of bounce and wiggle and jiggle. Just have fun. Think where little things would live, where you want little peaks and valleys. You need a little home for the mountain goats. Choom. There. There's all kind of little creatures that live up in here, and just have a good time. Okay. See? There. But just let it flow. No pressure here. Absolutely no pressure. And in your mind, just think nothing's touching the canvas but that little roll of paint. The knife is not even touching. If you let the knife touch it, then you, as Steve, my son, says, you mush the paint. That means you flatten it out and squish it. Steve and I have been known to make up words sometimes, so that's one that he's made up and uses. But people understand what he's saying when he teaches. And he travels all over the country teaching. God, he teaches literally thousands of people the joy of painting. There. So if he gets to your area, go see him, hassle him a little bit. He does a lot of demonstrations, and you'll find him to be a joy to be with. Okay, a little of the phthalo blue and white, a little roll of paint on the knife, and let's just lay in the indication here and there of some little shadow areas. We don't want a whole bunch of color there, just just where you think you'd be a happy little shadow living. There. Maybe right here. Choom, there he goes. Let's bring this one distinctly through. That'll push that first one back. Sneaky, huh? There. Let it go. And just a little touch over in here. Now sometimes it's fun to come back after you've done this and let's break that up. But now you can see a shadow through there. And little things like that will make your painting special. But you need to put a shadow back here. Every highlight needs its own shadow. And if you don't give it its own shadow, it just won't play with you. It'll go home. I hear over and over when people say they're having trouble. We always nearly trace it back to the fact that their paint is thin. And you really have to have a very firm paint to be able to paint wet on wet or layer on top of layers. There we go. Let's take a little, we'll just use that mountain color. I've added a little Van Dyke brown, put a little white in it. A little touch of the sap green, not much, just a little. I want a little more of the white in there. A little bit more of the white. There, that's sort of a nice grayish brown color, quite pleasant. Okay, let me wipe the old knife. Let's grab us sometimes, watch here, let's have some fun. Take a little of that same mountain color, maybe right in here, come right in here. There's just a little stone, or maybe a little part of the mountain that lives right in here. Watch there, just put that dark in, just like you did to make the big mountain up here. This is a baby mountain. If you take care of it, treat it well, it'll grow up and be a big mountain like its big brother right above it. Okay, back to our little bit of the white. I'm going to add the least little touch of Van Dyke brown in the white. I want to dull it down some down here. Just the least little touch, once again. Least little touch, and just let this sort of play. Let that knife just bounce though. I want this to look like rough places. Mean there. A little bit right in there. That's what my dog said when he set down the sandpaper. He said, rough. There. All right. That live in the front of that, and that'll help push it back. You can also, I'm going to dull that same, take a little brown, phthalo blue and white, and make a little shadow color. But I want it duller than the one up high. Just put the indication here and there of a little shadow that lives back in there. Have to have a little shadow in there too. Now, let's clean this off a little spot. Even with a palette this big, I run out of room sometime. That's what happens when you paint with big brushes and big knives. Let's take some black, some Prussian blue. I'm gonna put some phthalo green in there, maybe a little brown and crimson. What the heck? Just a little bit of everything. Good dark color. Okay, let me wipe off the old knife. Maybe, let's take some Van Dyke brown, get crazy. Maybe in our world there's a nice little stone that lives right in here. And this is going to be the bank. It's got to be a place to hold all this nice greenery up so it doesn't fall over in the water and make a big splash. Might be a little beaver or something lives here. It'd scare him to death. We don't want to do that. Hope you enjoy seeing my little creatures. I am so crazy about some of these little rascals. I have one that we call Squirrely Girly Brown, and she's a mess. Well, that little squirrel's something else. She's just about ready to turn loose. She's full grown now. She's been with me for, oh, I guess 8 or 9 months. She is something else. And she hides nuts all over my house. The other day I went fishing with a friend and I went to put on my fishing shoes and there was a pecan in the toe. You ever put your shoe on and somebody's put something in the end of it? Certainly get your attention. Let's take a little white, a little bit of the dark sienna. Let's just go up here and just touch and bounce. And we're just going to put the indication of some nice little things that are happening right along in here. But leave a dark area underneath, and I'll show you why in a minute. Let's do the other side while we got this going. Leave a dark area underneath because we want this to be deep, have height to it. Okay, wipe the knife, and we'll grab just the base of that and pull a little tiny bit of that color down using the small edge of the knife. Or sometimes I just use a small knife, depending on how you feel at that moment. But it'll create the illusion that this is thick. It's not just coming out there. And you sort of change the angles now and then. Something like so. Let's put a little water line. For that, we'll use a liquid white. Pull it out very flat, flat as you can get it. Cut across, okay? And we can go right up in here. And we can just drop in just a little water line. Just a happy little water line that lives back in here somewhere. We don't know where it is. Don't know that we even care. Just let your imagination take you anywhere you want to go. A lot of times I start a painting and have nothing in mind but the time of day and the time of year. And from that, you can paint some fantastic little scenes. Don't worry about it. You don't always have to have a perfect vision in your mind of what it is you're going to paint. Imagination is, it's like any other muscle in your body, or like a muscle in your body. The more you practice, the better it becomes. Take some black, Prussian blue. I'm going to put some phthalo green in there. I like phthalo green. Mix them together, cut off a little roll of paint. Let's go up in here. And we'll take this, and we'll just put the indication here. A little bit of soil, some dirt, some kind. Got to have a place if this is a little island for all this to sit on. All right. See there? That's all there is to it. Okay. All right, we got to figure out the Van Dyke brown. And let's have us a little path. We had to walk all through these bushes. Mosquitoes would get us, so. And let's have us a little path that we can walk back in here and catch that big old trout or bass, whatever it is that lives in here. There, take a little bit of, let's find some white, little dark sienna, mix it together, make a little highlight color, just barely touching, barely, let it graze, that easy, about like so. Okay, there. Making little sticks and twigs, take your knife, just a clean knife, and you can reach up in here and just scrape right through the paint. See? And that'll make all kinds of little sticks. And let's come down here, we'll make a few more in here, wherever. You decide where they live. Sometimes these old evergreens here have old dead limbs hanging off of them. And you can do that just with a little flick of the knife. I want to come back with a knife, take some pure titanium white, and I want a bright area right up in here. So I'm just going to take that titanium white, and as my son Steve says, we're just going to smoosh it right into the canvas, like that. Okay? Like the sun's maybe behind that old dark cloud there. So we're just going to smoosh it right in there. Just really press it in there. As I say, you better get out your heavy coat. Let's take Prussian blue, midnight black, put some alizarin crimson in it. Maybe even a little Van Dyke. Good dark color. Predominantly blue though. Pull it out as flat as you can get it. Cut across. Get a little roll of paint. Goes right on the edge of the knife. And our world, maybe, yep. We'll just put us a big old mountain lives right up here. Just decide where you think it should live and drop it in. And the only thing that we're worried about in this particular mountain is the top. We could care less what's happening below it. Just that nice edge is all we're looking for. Take a 2-inch brush, grab it, and pull it. Because we have liquid white on the canvas, we can move this color. There, see, just let it go. Make a big old mountain that just lives right in there like that. Come back with our titanium white. Pull it out as flat as we can get it, cut across, and we have a little roll of paint. And we just go right in there. And with that, let's put some nice highlights on this mountain. Big old snow-covered mountain. Whew. I lived in Alaska for almost a dozen years. And we saw a lot of this kind of scenery. Gorgeous place. Absolutely gorgeous. There we go. We'll take some white, a little Prussian blue, mix it together. And with that, we'll make a nice little shadow color. Just blue and white. There. Good coal color. Cut off our little roll of paint again. And we go up here. Touch. No pressure. Just let it flow. Grab. Now we're going to push that little peak back. Go right through it. See how it pushed it right in the background? There. No pressure though. You want the paint to break like that, to have those little holes in it. That's what makes it so pretty. Makes it actually look like something's happening in there. Little white, let's break up that straight edge. It bothers me that it's so straight. There, we'll come right in here. Put a little shadow under him. Shoot, we got a little mountain going right there. Today, let's have a little fun. Let's do 2 ranges of mountains, just to show you how you can put one mountain in front of another. Maybe over here we have a huge mountain, wherever you want it. Big, strong old mountain. Maybe there's a bump there. Something about like that. See, you have to make these big decisions in your world. Where does all these things live? You decide. And then just drop them in. That's what's so fantastic about this style of painting. You get an idea in your mind, and before it escapes, you can just put it in. Back to our titanium white. We'll put some highlights right out in here. There it is. See, wherever you want them. There, maybe right in here. See, there's one. Here comes one. Just let it flow right on through. Just make big decisions. Drop it in. You have unlimited power here. Because you know you can do anything that you believe you can do. Anything that you believe you can do. There we go. Right up into here. Shoot, look at that. Big old strong mountain. There. Just wherever. Something about like that. I love mountains. I think they're one of the most fun things there is to paint. And of course, none of us are interested in selling paintings, but if you are, it still seems to be the thing that sells better than anything else. It's just great big old mountains. People love them. They fit in almost any decor. Don't think there's anybody that doesn't like mountains. Well, maybe there is. There we are. Just bring it right on down. And here and there and there and here you can go in, figure out where you want a little projection to be. Put a little shadow behind liquid white, cut across it. We'll go right up in here and just put in a little tiny waterline is right there. This is just a light area between the 2 darks. It sort of separates. It also looks like little places where snow's laying out in the water. There we go. Isn't that nice? Maybe there's a big old thing out in here. Whatever. It's up to you. Up to you. All right, let's have some fun. Time to get crazy. Let's mix up some Prussian blue, some black, crimson. Whew, a lot of color there. Dark. It should look black. But it has a blue base to it. I'll even put a little brown and keep it dull. There. Let me wipe off the old knife. Got a little blue and white here. Since this is such a cold looking painting, I'm going to just use that color to make the indication of a few little trunks here and there. There. Normally we'd use brown, but I want this painting to stay cold. Real cold. There. Now let's take another, let's see here. Let's take a little bit of white, come right back in here, put the indication of a little bit of snow under here. Just a little snow. Gotta have something for all this to sit on. It's just sort of hanging out here in the lake right now, or stream, river, whatever it is. House out here, because I'd like to live in a place like this. So take your knife, scrape out a basic shape. That just removes excess paint. We'll take a little of the Van Dyke brown, a little dark sienna mixed together. We'll put the back roof in first, back eave, like that. That's all there is to it. And we'll put the front in. And all we're doing here is just blocking in color. It doesn't much matter. You could do this any old way you wanted to. Just blocking in color. Then we take some little white, little dark sienna, little Van Dyke brown, mix them together so they're marbled. cut across, and very lightly. Barely touch. Just like you're putting snow on the mountain. Barely touch. Just touch it. Pull. Maybe a little more over here so it shows up. Oh, that's nice. That's so nice. Take a little dark color. Just make it look like old boards. Little Van Dyke. Got a little door. A little touch of light color. Sort of outline it so we know where the door is at. Shoot. Now all we need is the other half the roof so he doesn't freeze. So we'll take a little bit of the titanium white. Just put it on right there. Ooh, I like that. Now we need a little over here. So it looks like the snow's deep on the roof up here. Okay, now we'll just take a little touch of snow, put right down here, wherever, right on across. See there? But pay attention to angles. You want that to flow. Because chances are if there's water out here, it's in a recessed area. Normally water always is in this recessed area. So, something like so. A little bit of the liquid white. Put a water line into here. Something about like that. I like these kind of paintings. I say they'll give you a lot of practice with the old knife. And that's what you need. That's what you need. A few little sticks over here. Just scrape right through the paint. Let the canvas show through. Prussian blue, midnight black, crimson. Maybe a little brown in there too. A little Van Dyke. Blue, black, crimson, and a little brown. Pull it out as flat as you can get it. Cut across. Get a little roll of paint. Should live right on the end of your knife. And with that, let's go up in here. Maybe our big mountain's going to live right here. Let's touch. Where do we want it to go? Let's make a wild mountain today. Shoot, if you've painted with me before, you know I love mountains. They're a lot of fun. And they're easy to do in this technique. Very, very easy to do. Mountains and maybe reflections are the two things that work the best. Or maybe they're just my favorites. See, if something's your favorite, then you think it works the best. So, let's see, maybe, I'll tell you what, let's get crazy. Put a bump over here too. That ought to be enough to keep us busy. Scrape off all the excess. Just really get in there and scrape it off. See, most of that pink went away, but there's going to be a little bit that shows in several places. As flat as we can get it. Really get in there and get tough. Cut across, get our little roll of paint once again. See, pull it out, cross, a little roll of paint. With that, we have to make some big decisions here. Maybe in our world, this old mountain comes right down like that. I don't know. You decide. But no pressure, absolutely no pressure on the knife. Just in your mind, pretend that only the paint is touching. The blade of the knife is not even touching the canvas. Nothing is touching except the paint. There. All right. Today I'm having this highlight come from the left side. It's up to you. You may want to change it and put it on the other side. In your world, you can put it anywhere that you want it. Anywhere. Let's mix up some shadow. For that, we'll use a little Prussian blue and white. Maybe put a little black in it to dull it. Don't want it too bright. Hurt your eyes. Have to wear sunglasses. There. Maybe a little bit darker. Ooh, that's getting right now. Gets good. You know when it's right. You can sort of look at it and tell. Our little roll of paint. And let's just put in the indication here and there of a few little shadow areas. Just a few little things. There. So, I like to do these. They're so much fun. Now, if anybody can paint mountains in this technique, it's probably my son Steve. Well, that son of a gun is the best mountain painter in the country. Whew. He makes me look bad sometimes. His mountains are so good. So good. But that just means I'm proud of him. There. Because he's painted since he was about 12 years old. he's a good example of what can be done, even at a young age. There, pull that right over in there. Reach up in there, pull a little bit of that down. Just sort of work these together until they're like you want them. When I said we was going to do a big mountain, I wasn't kidding, was I? Maybe there's a shadow comes right across over here. I don't know. Maybe a little lights. Just you make the decision. You decide where you think light's zinging through here. There. Here it comes. Just barely touching the canvas. I can't say that enough. I want that to look rounded. So you just use those kind of strokes to make it look that way. Just think what it would look like. I want it to look like it's coming over in front. Sneaky, huh? There's one right there. Back to the white. I'm just going back and forth between white and the shadow color. Maybe there's a bump that lives out here. Wherever. Doesn't much matter. In your world, you can put this anywhere that you want it. There we go. See, just let these things happen. This old knife will do wonderful, wonderful things for you. You can do entire scenes using absolutely nothing but the knife. It's a little slower, but the effect is beautiful. It is beautiful. In some of the earlier series, I think we did a couple of those. Our actual painting time here is less than 25 minutes. And there is no editing. If you've painted with me before, you know what you see is what actually happened. We don't edit. These are filmed live time. There we go. So if we make a boo-boo, it's right here. But that's all right, because we don't make mistakes in our world. There. We don't even know where that goes. Don't know that we even care. Pull that a little lower. Now, we got us a big mountain here. Let's have some fun. I think I want a house there. You know me. I always want to live in these scenes after I paint them. So I'm going to put a little cabin right there, little house. Now, every once in a while I get a letter from somebody and they'll say, oh, I love that scene until you put that house in there. I didn't like the house. If you don't want a house in your world, leave it out. I just want to show you how. What you put in there is your business. All right, brown. Just plain old Van Dyke brown. Little dark cyan in it sometimes. I sort of mix them up all the time, so you get a variation, but don't over-mix them. Leave them, even though you can't see it, it's so dark, leave them sort of marbled. Then we go back with a little white and some highlight colors, dark sienna, white, brown, Van Dyke brown. When you go back and it picks that up, it'll be marbled. It just won't be one old dull color. See there? Just barely touched, just like you were putting snow on the mountain. That's all you're doing. Okay, on the side over here, add a little more brown. I want it darker over here. Just barely can see there's anything happening there. Much darker. There. I think we need a door. Today I'm going to put a door right there. Take a little touch of the brown, put some indications like that in there, just to make it look like an old cabin living out here. We need a roof, or this poor man is going to freeze to death. We'll give him a roof for his cabin. Like that. There we go. Just put it right on there. Over here, we need a little bit. Lives right out there. Something like that. All right. Got a little too much white right there, so I just lift it off. See? Then we put that right back. Once again, we don't make mistakes. Anything that happens here, we can live with it. We can make it work. Let's have some fun. Maybe today, let's do a mountain. Let's do a mountain. We'll take some black and some blue, take a little alizarin crimson, and some Van Dyke brown. Just mainly a good dark color. Good dark color. Pull the paint out flat, cut across it so we have our little roll of paint right out of the edge of the knife. Now then, you have to make a big decision. Where does your mountain live? In your world, you decide. Maybe there's a peak there. Get a little more paint. Maybe this comes up. See, and just push very firmly and put your mountain in wherever you want it. Wherever you want it. That's exactly where it should be. Okay, there we go. And we just let this wander right on off. Scrape off all the excess paint. Just get in there and get tough with it. You're not going old titanium white. I'm going to reach over here and get the least little touch of the black and put in it, just so it grays it down a little bit. Makes it a little bit grayish. Pull it out as flat as you can get it. Just, get tough with it. Cut across, and we have our little roll of paint once again. And with that, now then we can begin deciding where light would shine through there. Just let the light come through and bounce and play and have fun wherever you want it. There we go. No pressure. Absolutely no pressure. See, touch. Just let it come on down. Now, if mountains in your area are a different shape, change them. All I want to do is show you how to make a mountain. I know this is not the shape of the mountain everywhere. But if you can make one mountain, you can make a million mountains. And maybe in your area there isn't any mountains. Then leave it out, if that's the way you want your world to be. I like mountains because they teach you how to use these knives. And if you learn to use these knives, you're in business. I'm going to take some white, a little bit of Prussian blue, just a small amount. It's very strong. Reach over here and get the least little touch of dark sienna and just mix it marbly. And I've got the small knife here. Let me wipe it off so you can see. Okay, now cut across and you get that. There we go. Get that little roll of paint. And there's a multitude of colors happening there, the same as there is here. Now then, let's put some shadows in here. Just touch, no pressure, no pressure, no pressure. Let it just glide right down the side of this. Right down the side. Let all those little colors just happen. Maybe they don't all show up, but in here, if you're looking close up, you can see all those different colors. The same as they were in the paint, now they're on the mountain. See, just put in your basic shape here. Pull it down, pull it down. There, now then, see this peak here? He needs his own individual little shadow. And that way he'll stand out. There we go. We can take here and there a little touch of dark color and go back and add in little accents. There. See, it makes those areas deep and dark and mysterious. That's where the mountain goat goes to hide. Well, when I lived in Alaska, we saw a lot of mountain goats and Dall sheep and all those beautiful, beautiful animals. There we go. Okay. You know, it's sort of sad in the way this is the last show of the 13th series. The last one. But we'll be back. We've already started working on the next series. It's hard to believe my gosh, there's nearly 170 shows now. And if you haven't had the opportunity with a knife, I'm going to take a little touch of Van Dyke Brown and just scrape in the indication of a water line, like so. So now we have foothills overlooking a happy little lake. Take a little liquid white, put it on the pallet, and we'll pull that out as flat as I can get it. Just really pull it out, get strong with it. Take the knife and cut across. And with that, go up here, and you can just cut in a little water line, just a little light area under the dark. And it separates that, makes it stand out. There. Does nice things. Maybe there's a happy little ripple here. Now keep these basically straight. And if you've painted with me before, you know that. Shoot, we talk about it all the time. Now then, let me find that old fan brush. There we go. I'm going to mix up, let's mix up a bunch of color. Black, Prussian blue. A painting like this, right in the middle of the painting, you can change your mind. You have total and complete freedom. When I was a traditional painter, I never felt free. Here I feel free. Pull the paint out flat, cut across, and once again we have our little roll of paint. Let's go up here, put the indication just here and there with some little tree trunks. Just wherever you want them, just brown and white. Brown and white. There. You can scratch through the paint, make the indication of all kinds of little sticks and twigs and stuff. There. People think you work for weeks putting all those in. And that's our secret. And I'd like to tell you, on behalf of the entire crew here, and it takes a lot of people, happy painting, God bless, and we'll see you next time.